Today we're going to review the history of medicine during the 17th century. During the 17th century, the doctors thought the four humors were what kept one healthy and balanced during their life. This idea was originally based on the theory from a Greek doctor, Dr. Galen. The four humors he thought of were blood, black bile, yellow bile, and phlegm. And again, these four humors had to be balanced in order for one to be considered healthy during the 17th century. The first of the four humors was black bile. This black bile was thought to make one sluggish, slow, and depressed. So in order to cure your depression or your slow movements, your sluggishness, they would give you something that would make you go to the bathroom a lot. They thought that this would clear out your intestinal system and help you become undepressed and make you move much faster and be more excited for every day. The second of the four humors was yellow bile. This yellow bile was thought to make you sick if you had a bad temper and you weren't feeling that good. In order to cure this, they would give you something to make you vomit, which you can imagine if you're already not feeling well, this is not going to help you feel any better. The third of the four humors was blood. In the 17th century, they thought that having too much blood made you feverish. So in order to get rid of your fever, they did a process called bloodletting. They used two different ways to do this. The first one was leeches. The second one was small cuts. They would apply the leeches or the cuts to different parts of the body and have the blood removed either by the leeches sucking out the blood or by the cuts leaking the blood until they thought that your fever had reduced or until you didn't have as much blood as you did to begin with. This led to many other issues during the 17th century, but was thought of a way to cure your fever for many years before and after the 17th century. The fourth and last humor was phlegm. People who had too much of this were supposed to be tearful and unhappy, so making them hot and sticky was supposed to cure them. Phlegm, remember, is the buildup of mucus within your lungs. So to make them hot and sticky was supposed to release all of that, to make you cough, to make you get rid of all of that phlegm that was making you tearful and unhappy. During this time, there was a disease that they called King's Evil. They thought that this disease popped up because they were being punished for some reason. During the 17th century and all the centuries leading up to it, many thought that you got sick because God was punishing you somehow, and being able to be touched by the king or the queen of the time would cure you of your disease because they were from God. The biggest problem during the 17th century was the Great Plague of 1665. This is what we all know as the Great Bubonic Plague or the Black Death. It was a huge outbreak of the plague, which is a disease that causes swelling or bubbles on you. They would fill with pus and they smelled bad when they would burst, and it was very easy to catch this. So during this time in Europe, it killed 75% of the people who caught the plague, wiping out huge populations of Europe that then had to be rebuilt.